Pause.
Diana?
Recording in progress.
Deborah asked to record, and now I'm not seeing her face. So I allowed her to record, but I'm not seeing her face. And oh, is that you, Deborah Maragopoulos? If I said that right?
There's another Deborah.
Got two Deborahs.
AI. Hello.
I'm here.
Are you the one
And-
recording?
No, I don't control it. So whoever controls this has
You
it on.
started it.
Okay, so somebody else, Deborah's AI note taker.
Oh,
No.
that's mine. You don't have to add that, but that's not what's recording. What's recording is
No, it could have been that I didn't intend to, but I may have pushed the button because only you and I can record. I'm going to do it for now. Okay.
Well,
And
yeah.
you want to put your name up there, Mayanna?
Let's see. Oh, yes. What happened? Where did I go?
Yeah, no, you didn't do that. I did that.
Oh
no, it's not recording. I don't know why it said that because it's not.
Oh,
mine is recording.
Yeah, it is recording. It is recording. So what happened is most likely when you started the Zoom, it automatically said it would turn on to record.
No, that's not it either, Deborah. Because
I'm going to remove permission to record local files. There we go.
Yeah.
And we are recording on this end. Yes. Okay.
I don't see that we're recording, so I'm going to push that button.
Okay.
yeah, I'm staying up, Millen.
Now we're recording to your computer, Mayanna.
Yes. And we're just, it's 10:02, but I think we're going to wait we'll just keep it open for another 3 minutes as people log in, and clocks are different, time zones are different, and challenges come in to prevent.
I'm going to stop your recording, Mayanna, and just start at just before we start. Otherwise, you'd have to edit all this out. We don't want to have to edit it out.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, stop.
That's your recording.
Yes.
So as we sit here together for the first time, some of us certainly for the first time in this particular focus, I'm so grateful for your presence and for the intention that is bubbling up from within this group of grandmothers, women of all ages, to be together for so many possibilities. So just in this moment of time, just stretch your body. Make sure your physical body feels like it's held solidly. There's no tension. The body is so important to our work. Then take a deep breath to bring the focus of your consciousness, that being of you, into the bodysuit. Letting that energy be moved right down through your feet down into Gaia. Saying to her, I'm here with you. And I'm here with you, grateful for what it is that you have offered our star soul families to do here on the planet, which is be restored to that divine nature of all good that we are. We're grateful for the directions, for the elements, for all of her creations that are here holding us, blessing us as we bless them, forming a partnership in this circle. Breathe yourself up to your solar plexus, that place of discernment, of feeling that which infuses you. Knowing what that is. And knowing what it is that infuses you, you have the authority and a voice to say no to that which would dissipate your energy. And in that place of authority and power, you open your heart, which is totally safe because you are protecting that precious you. So we can bring to this table the heartfelt communications, desires, visions, and wishes as we meet on the sacred ground of sovereignty, claiming protective shield sixfold in whatever you in your work bring, lifting us up out of any negativity into that field beyond entrapment, up into the dimensions where we are met with those in unseen worlds who are totally aligned for the highest good of you, your families, your communities, this circle, and indeed the world. And we are grateful for the connection in those worlds also. So we sit in this circle today, bringing our wisdom, our visions, our gifts, our desires, our hopes, and what we are terming a leadership capacity. How can we best bring that together into a stability, a safety, an expansion for these multitudes of women who have placed themselves in the Global Grandmother Council network? We are here to listen, to learn, to ask, and take action in whatever way we are called. So with that, this circle, anchored in Gaia, partnered with her, reaching into the beyond, heavens beyond, partners with those who see greater, sitting in heart and vision discernment with women in this circle and those who are here vicariously, to dream awake a new way of being for our world. With that, our circle is set, protected, and yet opened for our work. And so it is.
So it is. Let's say.
So if each one of you, once you come back into the circle, is going to invite you, a way that keeps us moving is you will place your name and the place on the planet where you are on the planet into the field of this circle. And when you've done that, then you see who hasn't spoken and you invite them into the circle. I call it tag. So I'll model and rule so that we get all of us in this circle by choice and consciousness. So I'm Sharon Raji Maynard. I'm on Whidbey Island in the state of Washington, USA, right halfway between Seattle and Canada. Glad to be here with you, and I pass the baton to Mayana. And I will mute when I'm not talking because we're recording.
I'm Mayana Kingery. I am in Stewart, Virginia, which is Southwest Virginia, right on the North Carolina state line, USA, out in the middle of nowhere, on land that was originally the Wolf Creek tribe of the Cherokee. And I will pass to Grandmother Suzanne.
A beautiful day to all of us. My name is Suzanne, the Star Rose of Idaho. I live in the world. I'm a planetary peacekeeper, but my home base is in Boise, Idaho. It's the original people's land of the Shoshone and the Bannock. I'm glad to be here, and I'm going to pass the baton to Pamela.
Thank you, Suzanne. My name is Pamela Sutton. I live in Worcester, Massachusetts, not far from the lakes of Lake Quinsigamond, which are original to Nipmuc and others. I'm glad to be here. I see a validity to what I have been working with in all of you, and are so grateful to the admins and for all of the work that you all have been doing for many, many years. Thank you. I'll pass it on to Julianne.
Good morning, and I am Julianne Robertson. I live in Silver Spring, Maryland, just over the line from Washington, D.C. I do work as an intuitive and truth speaker, and I am so deeply grateful for this circle to have been convened in this age of change. And I will throw it to grandmother Serena.
Hi, I am grandmother Serena from Rome, Italy. I am Nonna Serena, right? It's the Italian word. This is the city where I was born. It was the city of the Etruscans before it became the city of the Romans. And the Etruscans were very loving people, especially equal in genders. They came from Phoenicia land, which is near Lesbos, another very matrifocal culture. I am American. Besides being Italian, I'm also American. I've been a professor in American academia for over 30 years. I'm retired now, so that used to be my job. And I'm very proud to be a grandmother. My older grandson is turned 20, and I was a grandmother before I turned 50. So, and I do feel that women of wisdom are very important at this time, that really we need to be heard. We need to speak out and become a force. Yes, thank you all for being here. I'm very honored.
Who would you like to pass to, Serena?
To let me see, Alana Grace, yes.
Good morning. My name is Alana. I am in Northern California in a town called Roseville. I am so blessed and honored to be here to work with everyone across the world and to put all of our love energy into weaving something beautiful to move forward. So I am honored and grateful to be a part of this amazing circle. And let's see who I can pass it to. How about grandmother Deborah?
Hi, I'm Deborah Maragopoulos. I right now live in Ojai, California, which is the land of the Chumash. It's just east and south of Santa Barbara. I'm a healer. I'm an intuitive integrative nurse practitioner. I've been doing this work for 35 years. And I actually was part of a grandmother's council in Ojai. We had the Ojai Grandmother's Council. I was not a grandmother at the time. I was a wannabe. And I hear a lot of this discussion about who to invite in. So I was invited in as a younger woman, having written a book about Mary Magdalene and to present. And I was like, I want to come back. This is home. And they're like, you're not old enough. You're still bleeding out your wisdom. We'll wait till you're ready. And so I found this group. That group is kind of dissolved. And I found this group and I thought, okay, at 63, I'm ready. Let's do this thing. So here I am. And now I can see people's names. So how about Sandra? I pass the baton to Sandra.
Thank you,
Oh,
Deborah. Thank you. It's the morning here in Pawcatuck, Connecticut, land of the Stonington Pawcatuck, Stonington Pequot tribe. It's an honor to be here. I'm also a new grandmother. I've been blessed with one grandchild, but I have seen the need for healing from women who feel the call. And when I got this notice on Facebook, I know it's completely public and I've been reading everyone's comments. I felt very much called to join. I'm so glad that I happened to be at the computer and caught the connection. It's been difficult to find, but I think those that need to be found are found. I'm a performer, an educator. I recently retired from being a high school English teacher. I perform a play that is a heart-opening play about the need for peace. A million small circles of peace and small flames of peace everywhere. And I try to do my part to spread that. Just one more thing, I also belong to a Sangha in the Han tradition. And with that, I will bow. I beg you all. Thank you all for being here. I will throw it to Karen. Have you gone yet, Karen?
No, thank you. So I'm Karen Bright. It's about 20 past 12 a.m. on Friday morning here in Australia. I'm living in Naarm. It has its Aboriginal name, Wurundjeri country, Melbourne, Australia. So I'm a grandmother of 5. My grandson lives with me. He's 23. He's the eldest. The youngest is 7. So I've been on this grandmother's walk for over 20-something years, and I've been holding grandmother's circles, grandmother's deep days, and travelled overseas, as Grandmother Sharon knows. And we met at an elders' grandmother's gathering at Susan Stanton's. So I'm here because I committed all those years ago to the 13 grandmothers that I would walk this walk. So I can't not turn up. So hello, everybody, and much love.
Hello.
I will pass it over to there's other people. Becky Big Canoe.
Thank you. Greetings and so much honor to be here. Almost didn't make it, but I also have been watching the growth and angst and struggle of the group. It's huge now. It's amazing. Yeah, my name is Becky Big Canoe, and my surname is many generations old. I had an ancestor who, during the time of the renaming, chose to stick with his own individual name, Chichimon, which means big canoe, and that's been passed on through many generations now. I've been an activist for women, most particularly the missing and murdered Indigenous women issue in Canada. I've also been an activist for water. I conducted 4 water walks around my lake where I live on an island. It's called Lake Simcoe. We call it Wasagaming or Shenyang, both meaning the water that sparkles. And recently I founded a land trust and have gotten into the land reclamation space in order for grandmothers and grandfathers to have spaces where they can help reconnect our youth with our land-based knowledge and activities and culture. I've also been a powwow dancer, an artist and a writer, and things of that nature. In the past couple of years, I think, while I feel it's something extraordinary happened to me and came through me because of my love for our Indigenous clan systems, which I believe are something that people all over the world once had, and which were systematically destroyed by the forces of imperialism. They helped people to be strong together, which is what we're, I think, striving for, is being strong together. And the grandmother wisdom really is needed to support this. I call it the kinship way. I've written some documents about how I envision that it would unfold. And it's actually very beautiful and very inspiring, but it takes some commitment to really look into it, because all of us have had our minds conditioned by what we can term democracy, which I believe has it's to be what it was claiming to be, and that we need to get back to where we as grandmothers sit in council along with other members of our communities, sitting together in their councils in ages and stages of life and gender concerns, because we do have different roles, and all are necessary to the healthy functioning of a society that supports the well-being of children, and that's the center of it. So I have a Facebook group, which kind of I tend to kind of sporadically. I'm involved in a lot of different things, as I was saying, and but I would love to like teach the grandmothers the basics of what this kinship way is and what it can do in actually uniting us around the world. It seems a little like I can't even think of the word, but to divide us into 12 overall kinship groups around the world, so that we begin to build those filial relationships that call us sister and brother, no matter what race, class, gender, anything, religion, anything. None of those things matter when it comes to unifying and being peace in the world. So sorry for the long introduction, but I'm very honored to be here and have had the opportunity to tell you this. So, Chmiigwech. And I'll pass the feather to Serena. Have you spoken?
I have
Becky, we have, I think, Kathy and Pam and
Oh.
Marlene.
Okay, Kathy, for the first one you mentioned, and thank you so much again.
Yeah. And you'll have to unmute, Kathy.
Thank you. My name is Kathy. I live in the great city of Seattle in Washington State. I live in the triangle between Golden Gardens, the beach, Gasworks Park, a lake, and Green Lake, another lake, where I have always located myself in the middle of this triangle in the Seattle area. So many words of wisdom and ideas have been spoken that it will be very interesting to me to see how things evolve. I will mention that in Seattle, there has been a group called Women of Wisdom for many, many years, with a regular convention event during February that has gathered many women of different wisdom and experience together to help one another to become our most whole. And I pass I'm not sure who to pass to. If you have not spoken, can you let us know, please?
How about Pam? Is that okay if we pass over to Pam?
Yes, I pass this to Pam. Thank you.
Oops, Pam, I think you're there.
Pam's not quite here. Marlon has not yet spoken.
Let's go to Marlon. And we're, putting yourself in this circle, your name and where you are on the planet. And anything beyond that is up to you.
Hello, my name is Marlon Walker. I live in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada, on Treaty 6 land. And I'm just excited about being part of this. I'm curious as to what we're going to accomplish, and really happy to be invited and meet everyone. Thanks.
And now let's pass to Pam and see if she's able to. And Pam, if you're there and you just want to put it in the chat, we can read it from the chat. She's might have a little bit of computer glitch. Let's see. And I think other than that, we'll give that moment and then we'll turn it. There's Pam. Pam, Let's have you unmute. There you go. There
I
are
was
you on
trying
the
to
panel.
respond to Sharon's message and I got kicked out for some reason.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, so what am I doing now? Am I the one
We're,
speaking?
we're just each putting ourselves in the circle field by name. Who are we, where we are on the planet, and if there's anything else you want to share. But we're just basically putting ourselves in the circle before we begin. Thank you, Pam.
Okay. Well, I am in the Midwestern US in a town called Lake St. Louis. And I came from India in 75. I was in California before that. In India, I was a teacher, but when I came here in California, they were laying off teachers, and my husband had a business, so didn't get into teaching, got into business, and then did a lot of different things. And the last 18 years before I retired, I worked at Sony Pictures. And since I retired in 2016, I moved to Missouri, where I am now. And since then, I've published 2 books about like how to help yourself to be who you want to be. And or the second one is about our invisible helpers on the other side. So just, I mean, that's been my area of interest. And I am a certified life coach as well. I am so, I feel very empowered, and I love to empower women because I feel that we have so much power that it almost shames me when I see women being petty because they don't realize how powerful they are, and they're lowering themselves to such a level where they are. So that's been my sort of passion, to kind of help them see their power and not to misuse that to put the others down. But like I used to always tell, anybody that was trying to put me down, that, I respect you. I don't put you down, so I'm not going to let you put me down. I mean, I believe in myself. So that's what I want to sort of share and work with, to empower. And I feel like the energy of this group, with like so much wisdom and so much experience coming through, is it could almost be intimidating for somebody who's just coming in. But I feel very blessed to be here. Thank you.
Thank you, Pam. And Denise, welcome. What we're doing is simply putting ourselves in the field. We've set our circle and put the chest in place. So we're just your name and where you are on the planet, and if anything else you'd like to share. So over to you, Denise.
Hi, I'm Denise. I apologize for being late. My day job kind of took me over there. So I apologize for being late. My name is Denise Starr. I'm in Asheville, North Carolina. I am a regional executive for a healthcare company. So management, logistics, promotion, a lot of marketing and sales, new business, things like that. I'm also a watercolor artist, and I do these really bright, crazy watercolors. I think that is probably going to be my main career. I recently I've always had sort of an indigenous connection. So when my son had cancer, a Lakota medicine man came and did a healing ceremony. My daughter and I stumbled on an indigenous marrying of the waters ceremony, and the grandmother of the tribe asked us to be water bearers. And I recently went to Mexico to do a healing retreat, working with sacred plant medicines, as a result of, so I'll just be straight, my personal life was pretty leveled. I had an eldest daughter who passed away, and so there was a lot of grief, a lot of things that were trapped physically. I got emotionally and mentally through the the adversity. But realized, I had some residual sort of things left over, some sadness, some grief, some disempowerment sort of things. And I went to Mexico and went through this Mayan indigenous ceremony and just really healed, really healed. And it was powerful. And I found you guys right after that experience. And I knew immediately about the grandmother's wisdom and the background of that. So I wasn't one of the people who joined because I had grandchildren. and nothing against them. Grandmas have wisdom. Grandmas do, whether it's indigenous or not. But I really support what you guys are doing. And I feel like in tandem, I'm in healthcare and my work is in like children's hospitals and things like that. So healing is a really big thing for me. I tend to already collaborate really well with women and I'm not judgy. Everybody is where they're at, right? And it's our job to sort of play off of each other and build each other up. And so I absolutely love having found you guys. I support you 2000%. And in whatever way I can serve, I'm happy to do it. That's it. You call on me, whatever. I'm here. So that's it.
Thank you, Denise.
Yeah, thank you.
So, Diana, I'm turning this glorious field over to you. Okay.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you, Grandmother Sharon. Thank you, Grandmother Suzanne, for holding this without us all for so many years and holding it in place so it could come here now. And this is just quite an honor and a privilege for me to have been invited in and connected back to Grandmother Suzanne because I lived in Boise and called Circle there for several years. I did not know Suzanne when I was there, but we know many of the same people and it was just a real wonderful experience to come back here. So I was invited in to help administer the group and to meet Grandmother Suzanne in May, I think late May, early June. And we had about 9,000 maybe members. The numbers and the times float away. But I felt that Suzanne and I shared a vision for the lighting of the world and little lights all over the world. We had both had that vision, and maybe many of you have had that vision too, where it just lights up with all these light centers. So I have a background in program development and restructuring private schools and organizations. I built an Idaho Highway Safety Coalition, so that that foundational structure is my strength. And I was like, okay, yeah, I'm in 2000%. And as we have been holding this space with these now, I don't know, maybe 54, almost 55,000 women today, close to that. It has been growing in us that have been holding it, and we have been feeling the value of that. And we are so grateful that you all have come in to help us form this council that we all imagine to form, a global council of local grandmother councils all over the world. So could you just raise your hand if you're leading a council, a women's council, whether it's grandmothers or just women, if you're leading a council right now? So we have five who are leading councils right now. Thank you for that. And I have called my first council here, but it's a very low populated area that I'm in. So we'll see how that goes. So as we want to give just a little overview of where we've been and what our minds and our hearts are bringing forth. I appreciate the discussion from Becky Big Canoe about the 12 and the 12 around one principle has been in me forever. I've always used it. I have understood it as the 12 around one is the masculine principle and the seed for patterns and structures that are able to bloom into the 13, which is the feminine number. When the one in the middle is complete with the 12 around it, it spirals out and becomes the 13 indigenous grandmothers. That's the number of the feminine. So we are a feminine group, and the principles that allow growth in the material world are masculine patterns, is what I've understood. But we get to decide what those patterns look like and how they integrate. And as we are here today, we want to form a few things, a few groups, a few councils. Our core council is calling to lead globally. We also will have councils that lead in a variety of areas. Sharon, yes.
Would you like me to share the 12 proposed circles and then also the
Yes,
different
please.
things we're looking for? So as you talk.
Yes, please. Thank you. So this, I've used Barbara Marx Hubbard's work for years, but I've changed it throughout the years for Peace Production. I should tell you, Peace Production, I'm the co-founder of, and we are the nonprofit that has merged with the Global Grandmothers and offer the 501c3 status because we have the same intent in the world. And as I was sitting on my swing one day, the grandmothers showed me that there needed to be spheres of influence for this particular group. And this is what came to me, that we are the Global Grandmothers Council Network as the center point, and the 12 in one, not 12 around one, the 12 in one. And that center, as Sharon and Suzanne and I spoke, that the values or the administration may be that center point, and there may be different names for these spheres, but this is what I came up with. So the holding values at the top, because the values have to be held through everything that we do. And we've shared the values documents with you all, the many values. So our values have to guide our mission, our vision, our purpose, even our vows, which I believe we should make vows, voices of wisdom, and just reclaiming that word a little bit. So the Values Council would weave the values into these documents and write them. The administration holds the vision in relationship to the values and implements the Facebook group and the website and the organizational structure. It's the admin is responsible for that. Then we have the creators of one-on-one gatherings. Some of these names don't match exactly to the spheres that you were seeing, but this is what we saw that we need right now is we need global Grandmother Council creators, and we need local Grandmother Council creators. And the guidance group are those who teach, those with experience that have wisdom to guide. And they may be professionals, they may be just wisdom keepers from indigenous cultures, but they have that wisdom to guide the whole membership. the outreach would be with media and informing the public and, you know, administering the Facebook group and creating videos we can share and information that can be put out to the public about what we're doing. Restoring to our true soul every moment through everything we do, anything that arises or emerges, to look at it right then, right here, right now, be present with and heal whatever is there. And in the website that we intend, which I'll talk about in a second, these kind of things, the Restoring to True Soul, those would all be free services for the members. You know, they can access communications, they can access ancestral healing information and receive from the mycelium and about a good mind and about Gaia and protecting Mother Earth. Those are some things that we would want to be free for all. The rest of it would be private teachings. So the education would be where we have our classes and our events and our Zoom retreats and on the ground events as well as online events, trainings that we offer to the world that people can sign up for. The technology sphere, we will be like the building of the website and the dashboard support for both the website and the Facebook group, training with technology because members need to know how to use the technology that we're offering, and publications that we put out. And then there's a sphere for membership care. The membership, we have to care for our members. We have to provide for our members. We have to listen to our members. We have to really hear them and implement the things that they're saying. And which is what we're doing here now too, as you all are gathered with us. And then the financial reciprocity and stability, the membership fees through the website will provide some really great fundraising for us. We do also have the GoFundMe, which we're about a little under $1,900, I think, right now that we've raised, which is nowhere near enough. We will be able to apply for grants as a US 501c3. We can apply for grants. We can, organizational costs and budgets, we need to put all of that together. And the marketplace. So now that we've get here, let me just take a breath. So the website that we've envisioned, we're so excited because there is a platform that we believe we'll be able to just adopt that was built by one divine in Ojai who's moved to Mount Shasta because the grandmothers have been calling her for 10 years to build this website that we are needing, and she has built it. And there is a platform for building the websites and a platform for the membership that weave together seamlessly and will allow us to, the word she uses is fractalize. So the Global Grandmothers Council website will be able to offer every local Grandmothers Council a website. There will be local and global events, services, and materials for sale in a marketplace and in events. We'll have Global Grandmother Council branded events where we have annual and maybe more than annual events in different locations in the world. We'll have, it's really unlimited. We intend to be the voice in the world that speaks to our local communities, our regions, and our governments, and demands that they hear and take action. I am so excited by watching all of the women's groups that are rising and weaving together right now. And it really is the time, and it's exciting to be a part of the One Rising. And we need to come out with statements and programs and policies and procedures that we recommend to those who are leaders currently in the world, and let them hear the human leading that we need to do as grandmothers. Education is key. And just a real quick example of what I mean about making recommendations to governments was a vision I just had a few days ago of all of the elementary schools becoming residential care centers for different kinds of groups. And we build whole new schools that are based around children and learning, because these aren't. And it would meet the needs for healthcare of, addiction spaces, recovery, people coming out of prison programs, all kinds of different programs that could be met just with that one simple shift. So, but that's only one. And there are so many things that we will be able to do together. And that's the key, that we're doing it together. So, Sharon?
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. So I'm just going to quickly go over these again, because now as I speak, these are like this, we would call these, maybe we're calling them councils, because we are putting into a feminine model. And I tell you, there's been women, One Divine being one, Don Gandalf from Gather the Women. I mean, women from other organizations we have reached out to have been so grateful and willing to share with us what they've already known, so we don't have to reinvent the wheel. So these would be like the organizational teams of a council to make sure our values are integrated into statements, that we have an administration that's going to administer, make sure they're hold to values, that they're kind of the overseer. We need someone, a group that is going to be what we're calling the creators, which means how can we help local women create local gatherings, global and in our state, in our United States. The guidance council, someone who we're going to have, we have already, us included, women who've come into this group who still have some woundedness. Some have more than others, and it's going to bubble up. And in a place where they finally are safe enough to say it, we want to make sure that we have professionals who can help in whatever way is needed. The outreach, of course, we need that stability. Someone who wants to be in charge of and helping with a curriculum of teachings about healing, in addition to that guidance council. An education group. What do our members need to keep up with technology, but also what kind of events, overseeing events and services, etc. Technology, absolutely. If you're into that, we need that kind of a team, someone over that. Membership, growing it and care. The financial stability. So those are the teams that, but what she didn't say, and I'm going to say this right off the bat, what we need most currently is a transition team. That you might want to be part of a specific team, but also we need a group of women, maybe 4 or 5 or 6, who can work with Maya during this transition time to help the pieces come together, because that's a huge job.
Yeah.
Yes, go ahead, Maya.
Yeah, and the transition team would be developing applications to councils and budgets and all of those foundational documents that need to come together. So there will be applying to council.
Yeah. So with that,
Grandmother Suzanne wants to speak.
Grandmother Suzanne, go for it.
Okay, so networking, grandmother councils. Already I have some very dear people like Kathleen from the creator of Tree Sisters, who now is a Creativity Well. she just contacted me yesterday and said, whatever I can do, I want to help. And so currently, there are others like Heather with the grandmothers that are instantly knowing that they want to be part of the team. So I just wanted to put that in that who's going to be the networker that each of you probably have 3 or 4 wonderful groups that are already existing, and to join in, as the 1,000th of a voice. So I wanted to say that. Thank you.
I think it's important to say that what we're looking at is as we Suzanne and Mayanne and I met, what we felt like was in this circle of 12 with the center, what do we feel like we need most immediately? And totally we're beginning with names and with minor job descriptions that you get to participate in whatever way you might want to. Okay. So like Suzanne said, I mean, when we get some heads over certain areas, there are lots of women who want to help participate. And so we're putting the bones in place, and then where will we play? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to have us take a 5-minute break. I want you to get up, stretch a little bit, get a drink of water, make sure you have some writing material, because then when you come back, we're going to go into some small groups for you to talk to each other. We'll talk about that when you come back. So, you might have a lot of things bubbling, capture them written, and we're going to come back. Okay, I'm going to use my phone because my phone has a better time than my computer. So we are going to come back at the top of the hour, which is really 6 minutes. At the top of the hour, get back, and we're going to do beginning to do some work in smaller groups. So I'll see you back top of the hour. Thanks, loves. About another minute. Okay, we're gathering. So when you're back, turn on your computer video and if you can, and unmute. Well, you don't have to unmute yet. Okay. Ah, here we are. We're showing up again. Okay. So we've given you, Mayanna's given you an overview of where we've been, a short history, very short history, which is great. Why we need a 401k, a 501k, in order to, umbrella us. That makes it so the grandmothers themselves, that organization does not have to go through the federal process of that. And yet we can be in a position to go for larger amounts of money for sure, because what they want, those who are donating bigger amounts of money, they want a tax write-off. So the piece production gives us that capacity and that ability. And now here's some structure. We know that we need these things, or want these things in place to begin now really forming and being solid. This is the leadership possibilities. You're here because you're wondering, how can I participate? We want that too, of course. We're meeting with another group tomorrow to get more information, to get the website solid. So, we are really moving fast. But what is it? What is it, as you sit with us and you've been in the conversations on the Facebook, what is it that's exciting you? What is starting to emerge in you that going like, hey, this is an idea, or I'd like to be this, or maybe a question, something's bubbling for you. And we want to know what that is. So what we're going to do, I'm going to put you into small groups. There'll be either 2 or 3 in the group. And that's the question you're going to talk to each other about. What is it that's my work? Oh, this idea. Well, what about that? This is what I've run into before. Any of that bubbles up, have a secretary. You'll have to assign the secretary who's going to write those things down and capture them. Okay. As you have conversations with one another. And because the most in a group is 3, which is a perfect feminine number for foundational, anything 3. So here, because there'll be 3 in most of the groups, and we're going to allow, 3 minutes, 4 minutes each. So that's about 12 minutes. So remember to make sure everybody in your group gets a chance to talk. So you'll have to monitor yourself a little bit, maybe. And you can do that perfectly. We don't have to tell you what to do. Just make sure everybody gets heard, things gets captured, because we need to know what each other's thinking. And so capturing it with a secretary so that when you come back, it will be on the recording and captured. Okay. So I'm going to give you, we'll be there for 12 minutes. I will give you a 3-minute heads up. I'll send a message into the groups. So be watching for a little message that comes at the top of your screen that you have 3 minutes left, so that you're going to start winding up. And then you'll get another warning that you have 1 minute left. And then Zoom will magically bring you back into the main room. You don't have to click the button that it shows. If you do, you're going to leave your group soon. So just let Zoom bring you back. And that's what we'll do next, is get your information captured. So with that, any questions before I move you into groups? Yes, Julianne. Oh, you have, there you go.
I have one question. I don't know what the structure is proposed, but I do know that in a 501c3, we are constrained to not speak about issues relating to legislation. So I just wanted to put that out there.
Yeah, you're correct. Thank you on that one. Yeah. And yeah, and that is, and we'll capture that. We don't need to answer it right now, but that's captured. Yes, Sandra.
Sorry, I froze for a moment. What is the purpose of the small group meeting? What are the?
The small group meeting is a chance for each of you to share with your small group what's bubbling for you.
Okay.
Ideas, concerns, like Julianne just put in one concern. What concerns, things you want to bring to the table, etc. And then one secretary that will bring and read it into the field. 3-minute warning, 1 minute more warning, and then we'll move on. Okay, here you go. Sisters, love you. Stay awake. Oh, I'm going to put you in a meeting. Let's see. They don't have you going into a meeting because you're a host. You want to unmute? You see, they don't have you going into a meeting because you're a host, nor do they have me going into a meeting that host.
Okay, Peggy is new coming in.
I'm going to say, I don't know if I can talk. Peggy? Is that Peggy?
Yes.
Peggy, we're just going into small groups to talk about what's exciting to you about the council coming together. I'm going to put you into a group. We'll have 12 minutes there, and the women in that group can also help you know more. Okay? So I'm moving you in.
And you'll have to unmute.
I think they unmute when they go into the group. They automatically are unmuted, I think.
Okay.
And I can't put you in a group. Oh, wait a minute. That's interesting. Okay. I put her in a group that I thought we had 2, but they all have 3. In her group, there's 4. And I can't put you in a group because you're not listed you're listed as a host.
Okay. Well, that's all right.
Is that okay with you?
Sure. That's fine.
Okay, you're doing great.
Yeah.
You feel good?
I feel good. Yeah. I feel a little nervousness of getting all the right things out. I think together we're getting it out.
Yeah, I think we are. I think, yeah, we're doing good. That's interesting. Okay. We're already, I look over here and already they've been in a group about 5 minutes. And I guess because we're talking to Peggy and we were getting Peggy where she needed to be. You know what I mean? She's muted. They'll tell her to unmute. They'll take care of her.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So it will be interesting to see. I mean, I think we're right on schedule. We're covering it well. And this is the first time they're hearing a lot of these things.
Yeah.
So I think then when we bring them back, we're going to have each of the secretaries, and there's four rooms. There's 4 rooms. And so we're going to just have them read it into, otherwise I'd have to, copy paste or whatever, but they can read pretty quickly.
Uh-huh.
And then
and it'll go in the transcript.
Yeah, once they've read it, yes, it'll go in the transcript. That's why I want to have them just read it. And then we're going to have them think about, I'm going to read through the I read through the titles again and say, where in this moment, no, nothing commitment, where would you might want to play? Think a minute, put it in the chat, and then the next step. And you're doing the next step, right? Like, here's the work. If you're interested, email us with questions. There'll be an application with more information, whatever it is. So
Right.
the next meeting of that you're invited to will depend on where you think you might want to play or what questions you might have.
Yeah. Yeah, because now after this one, we break up into the variety of different councils that are needed.
Yeah. And if there are some who didn't know about this meeting, weren't able to be it. I mean, we could repeat this meeting, a week down the road for those maybe who are newbies coming into interest of leadership.
Yeah,
But
out of 50,000, you'd think there would be people interested.
I'm sure there are. I think the number of those who respond is like 10% or
Mhm.
less.
Mhm.
That's a good number.
Yeah, even 1%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So so this is where we're starting. I think we're in a good spot.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. And then tomorrow we'll see how quickly we can get how much money do you know how much money it's going to take to get? I know that you have a number on the GoFundMe for the website. How much
Right.
is it?
And that was a pick from air number,
Yeah,
knowing I've spent 30,000 on websites before,
yeah,
but
yeah,
not knowing what One Divine's cost. That's going to be key, is finding out what it's going to cost through her.
yeah, yeah. Because I think this, getting this energy of leadership beginning to move forward a direction, and then getting specific, as much specific as we can for One Divine cost, and maybe this maybe there might be, this is the first step, second step, third step, and we
Right.
need this much money each, and then we can maybe start promoting fundraising a little bit more.
Yes. And as we develop all of that, then we can look for a woman of power who would be a spokesperson for us that has a grand following and is well known in the world.
Yeah.
And I think of people like Dame Judi Dench or
Go for big.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know I was on a conference call or a Zoom call yesterday with a group I followed for a long time, and they're I can't remember the name, but they're doing exactly what we're doing across the board for people to form community, and then bring different organizations with similar commitments under the umbrella. I mean, it's like they're going under Meetup, or not Meetup. I don't know, but one that we're not going with, which I'm glad. But they're doing that. I'm putting all of my communities now. I have several communities that have different focuses under the same umbrella. I'm just totally redoing them on Facebook and in Action, because we're very much an action group. And I'm seeing that it is happening so many places.
Yeah, and the legislation piece, the founding mothers are going to do that, and they're a 501c3. You can't promote a candidate or a party as a 501c3.
Yeah. Well, you can't a piece, but can grandmothers be involved politically because they themselves are not 501(c)(3)?
Individual grandmothers, yes. The organization will not be able to come out in support of a candidate, but
we're not going to do that anyway.
Yeah, we don't need to do that. We are supporting policies and guidelines and new ways of taking care of the people.
Yeah. Well, I've got to broadcast into this group. They have 3 minutes left.
Okay. And when the Johnson Amendment, the Supreme Court struck down the Johnson Amendment, that was what didn't allow churches to be political.
Ah,
And it did apply to nonprofits, but I still won't go there.
yeah, yeah. No, I think it's wise we don't.
Yeah.
Okay, so now they have 3 minutes. So at 2 minutes, I'll close the room. And then that will give them that morning. Okay. Ugh.
How are you?
I'm tired, but it's because I'm not an early riser.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm probably I'm up for the day, but yeah, I'm glad we're getting things moving forward, and I'll be
Yeah.
glad to see a solid bone framework for the
Yeah.
organization and for the website. I'm really looking forward to that.
Yeah, me too.
And I think, I really want to emphasize again for them that the transitional team is really important, and be assisting all of this weaving into the organization. So it's really important to have places they
Yeah.
play there.
I think of Grandmother Spider, when I first met Grandmother Spider, I was so terrified when I saw her, and then I came to know her, and she's such
Yeah.
a beautiful weaver.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we are that. We are
We
that.
are. Yeah. And I mean, there's women that we're going to bring to the table exactly what's needed, and they're ready. So, yeah.
Yeah. I'm excited to have some administrators in the group.
Yeah. Technology person in the group, media marketing in the group. Did you see that?
Yeah.
And yeah, so it's all that's been needed is a voices to call together a vision to manifest in a more expanded way. We've in many ways have been holding the vision, speaking the vision, living the vision. It's just expansion. I had a very similar vision open up as I'm driving home. Now they have 1 minute left. As I was driving home from Boise, I'd moved from Boise to Ogden, Utah. So I'm driving home, driving from Ogden back to Boise for some reason. I don't remember what. And I mean, I'm driving, and here in my third eye, but out there was all of these candles begin pop up like all over the planet.
Right.
Watching. Yeah, when you said that,
Yeah.
I went, I've forgotten all these candles. And they said, watch all these candles. They said, when there's enough candles, the heavens will open and everything will be restored.
Yes.
Hello, everyone. You're coming back. I'm just getting.
Is it nap time, Karen?
Yes, you're doing good work, you guys.
Yeah.
It's so valuable to have you all here.
It's such an honor.
Good. Okay. So all of your rooms, and there were 4 rooms, and we didn't put a name on the room. So I'm going to just name, I'm going to name a person so you'll know what room that is. And then we're going to go write down 1, 2, 3, 4. The secretaries from each of those rooms will read their list. We're not going to comment. We're just going to read the list. We're going to listen to each other, and we're going to put those comments into this field of creation. So we'll start with room 1, who has Grandmother Suzanne was there. Room 2, Alana was there. Room 3, Becky Big Canoe was there. And room 4, Karen Bright was there. So you know your room, you know the secretary. So room 1,
Right here.
open,
secretary.
read. Yeah, for your reading, room 1.
Okay, this is Deborah. So Pam started, and she had some concerns about the connection with the indigenous activity that didn't feel, feel as good to her as she wanted. She's from background, so she felt like she was more of a role, her role is more of a signpost or a guide, and that she didn't feel as compelled to participate in ceremony, but she, would definitely could hold that space. Peggy feels that she's more of an observer role, very, very spiritual and traditional, and again, wants to really educate others or hold the space for others to maintain their own well-being. Suzanne described herself as a spiritual conduit and really sees this website forming from the Global Grandmothers Council as an educational opportunity to allow women to heal. And I commented actually on more on Pam's, but my concern was that there's different levels of spiritual maturity in this group, and that we need to be very cognizant of that. It's not about age, it's really about spiritual maturity. And we have coming from different backgrounds, and there's a lot that comes up at an emotional level when we see each other's posts. And so we have to really stop and take a breath and know, is this mine or is this theirs?
Thank you, room 1. Room 2.
I was the scribe for room 2 with Denise and Alana. And what I took down was similarities with both women, some incredible executive managerial experience and skills in the field of health and healing, marketing, getting people to do stuff. Both of them, Denise mentioned that. Alana as a public health chief executive officer, writing policy, being an executive for grant writing as well. She's now a spiritual life coach, using her power to help heal the earth for future generations. One quote was, we're all indigenous to a point. We have different cultures, but the belief systems all conjoin into a kind of collective spiritual rainbow, which I thought was a beautiful phrase. The ancestral healing came up for all three of us, that this earth cannot heal until her people are healed. And so the amount of powerful spiritual energy to heal the trauma that generations, even our ancestral generations, have felt, we have the power to heal them as well. There was impetus to start local councils in Ashland. I think Denise is from Ashland. And so to carry through the spoke of the wheel, I guess, of the center to our local areas and either start councils or team up with what exists already in our localities. Education, ceremony, the fact of the experience that Denise had, that she experienced this message, that she's born for this moment, that there is an awakening that she experienced. I did too. I feel out of the 55,000 people on that public Facebook group here. And there's got to be a reason. Maybe it's that I shouldn't doubt my own powers as they start to blossom, but I'm quite honored to be a part of this this beginning. And I'll bow out for group 2. Thank you.
Group 3.
Yeah, hi. It's back. I did recording work as well. And so I started, and I just kind of reiterated that my passion is completely to teach others about this kinship way, because it's like, to me, the structure of the basket. It's the hoop and the thing that goes round, and then everything that we have to contribute is going to weave this basket together. But it really truly is a new way for us to be related to one another. So I just stressed that that's going to be what you're going to hear from me over and over again. And then Serena, beautiful lady, talked about the origins of Italy and the what we were looking at, I think, is the ancient historical roots of a lot of people from Europe, and how a lot of that history basically has been obscured and lost to our current day. But she mentioned the Etruscans and the Phoenicians and Asia Minor, early something. Basically, we need to re-examine our roots. We need to see, like, in calling upon those roots, because they did originate with the Great Mother. All of the cultures at one time revered the Great Mother, and then changes happened and stuff. So Serena basically sees that us older women in our current society are being pushed to the margins. And a lot of times we're being used as childcare, babysitters without recompense. And for a very large majority of us, the system has left us in a state of poverty, which is a very difficult place to inhabit because of the limits on our choices. So, and then she was talking about how the freedom that comes with the Croning age should allow us to appreciate and enjoy our bodies and our activities that we now have the freedom to do without worry. So we can get into that pleasure when we want to. And then Marlon was just really going over how the connection that she feels with the group, and the astounding growth and the energy within all the women together. And she just really wants to know how she can help, what role she can take up. But she knows, she has a knowing that she is supposed to be here with us. Her background is in psychology, and now she supports students of psychology, and she knows she has much wisdom to share. Thank you.
Group number 4.
Sorry, sleepy. So hopefully I can read what I wrote. Pamela said that her main word is about empowering connections between the worlds, transformation into the matriarchal. The group she leads, she talked about a beautiful painting where there's a bridge in it. She talks about the bridge. She talks about a beautiful figure in light. She talks about the light. She talks about empowering women in the feminine intelligence and the guiding light. And Julianne talks about time in global history from one phase of a development to a higher phase. The grandmothers are called to sift out the physicality elements of humanity, like greed, rage, and unethical use of power, and replace those things with compassion and unconditional love and equitable distribution of resources. And so that brought me to myself, and I didn't take notes. And it was that I had the vision of when I went to Susan Stanton, who's the CEO of Grandmothers Circle the Earth. So, you know, we're all these grandmother groups. And I was over in on the Mississippi, and the first night I slept there in April this year, I woke up in a full dream of the grandmothers all in a canoe in the sky with the rainbow in the stars. And that's what it's about. And so I'm a visioner, I'm a dreamer, and I'm known for that. And even when I was up in Canada and everywhere last year, it's not about me, it's about the heart. And that's what they've told me. And so people want to come, they will bring me tobacco, you know, to sit and hear from the grandmothers. So the grandmothers are real. And it's about, I spoke about the 4 colours coming together, all of us coming together. I mean, for 64 years, I thought my dad was African American. And you're going to love this, Serena, when you hear. I found out at 64 that my dad is Italian. And I just went to Italy, right? I thought that's why I was involved in the culture, right? And so to be that white grandmother, as Susan says, right? The white of the 4 colours coming together. And so I went to Italy, and everything I do is called tree heart, because the old ones say when there's no more trees, there's no more us, right? As you know, I have the children's prayer song that I was given 20-something years ago. And one of the elders up at Forks is now being sung in Métis and French and Ojibwe and Cree, because we're all the children. And that was same for the 13 grandmothers. But going back to Italy, so guess who goes to Italy? I went this year in June. I met family, but I met the tree. There was the oldest tree there, the most spiritual tree, the chestnut tree. I didn't even know my daughter had seen that tree in a vision 3 weeks before. We got there to the village where I come from, and I found my roots, all right? And so I'm Sicilian. And the tree and the roots had been calling, but that tree is the universal tree of peace. So I didn't even say that in my talk. It is bigger than us. And it is for, what I did speak of, is for the next generations. And so my role is, I've been sitting here, I haven't been able to ignore it. I haven't read all the posts, as I've spoken with Sharon, who knows me. But the thing is, it's about the deep healing days that we do with the grandmothers, where they connect to their trees, to the umbilical cords, to all the grandmothers, to all the children. And Susan had me doing that. I'm not a Zoom woman. She had me doing that overseas, in the, you know, on the workshops over there to get my funds for travel. And people love them. So I said to Sharon, I'm happy to offer what I do here, you know, what the circles we do here. And the thing is, those grandmothers, I've got a message for Becky, who spoke about the murdered and missing women. Because when I came back from being with the elders over there, over in Alberta and in Manitoba and everywhere last year, I did a circle work here with the grandmothers, and we journeyed. And in amongst that, I was shown the grandmothers with all the murdered and missing women behind them. And they said, please tell them they are not forgotten. They are with us. And I don't say that lightly. So that's why I'm here, all right? Because I'm their voice, yes? So it ain't about me, but there's many more visions and things I can share, and songs, and they're all prayer songs. And of course, my mountain is Mount Etna. It's a volcano. And the tree is at the base of there. And before that, I was over at Mauna Kea with Susan and Gail Whitlow, the Indigenous elders. We were just over there in June. So it's about the mountains. It's about the land. It's about Mother Earth. All right. So that's it from me. And I stayed up to say that. Here you go. I call them sky grannies. That's it. That's why we're here, for our children. And, you know, that's it from me. You woke me up.
Great. Our passions do wake us up. Sometimes our passions, our visions, we didn't know that if we'd even be able to live them expansively, and all of a sudden here's the opportunity. I want to say one thing, and then I'm going to let you be with a minute, and then I'm going to turn it back over to Mayanna. So here, you know, we are now putting together bones of an organization that can be solid, that then can hold the expansive. I call us starlings. We flock around values and then we fly off eventually, you know, off and on, but we always come back to values. So I'm just going to read these positions, I'll call them positions, transition team, to help Mayanna, especially as this weaves together. So she's not having to do it alone. A value council that will sit just long enough to get them, make sure the values are woven in to our statement, our mission, our vision, because the women have spoken. Admin, a creator to help one-on-one gatherings, just to oversee that. A committee for guidance to help those who get triggered, we'll say, know that there's a place and here's some opportunities. The outreach to let others know about who we are and who we might want to connect with. The healing, again, what emerges, just classes and ongoing presentations, always we're going to need that. The educational piece of a marketplace and services and events, etc. Who would like to oversee that? Technology, who would want to help that team to come together, because even somebody in technology would be the one pushing the buttons for how we go into small groups and when we record. I mean, technology is so critical for many places. Our membership, overseeing the membership, not only the gathering, but the care, and a team for financial responsibility and stability. Now I want just to take a minute, maybe 30 seconds for you to just quiet. Where does your passion fit? Where does your passion fit? Weaving the whole organization as a transition, weaving the values into vision, mission statements, etc. Administration to hold the vision, encourage one-on-one gatherings, to be part of the availability of those who need greater help in professional work, someone who does outreach, helping a curriculum that is just constantly available for healing what emerges, keeping us in good mind. An education piece of all the possibilities, events, globally, locally, trainings. Someone who is willing to help and knows really good at technology to help that part of us. Membership care. Help make sure we have financial stability, which might be helping with fundraisers, encouraging grants, helping with the marketplace on our website. And realize that wherever you're called to play in this moment, we want it to match your passion and what's emerging. Knowing that you might say, I want to step up to help this team because that's where I want to be. But right now, you might be leading a team maybe for a month or two till the team coalesces, gets another leader so that you get to play in a different way. It's where do you feel drawn to play now? That's for you to know. Just think about it. And then I'm going to turn it over to Mayanna.
Thank you.
What's going to be coming next, Mayanna?
Well, first, I just want to say that I had the privilege of sitting with grandmother Agnes Baker Pilgrim in Oregon. She was our grandmother. And her message of being the voice for the voiceless, this is what we're here to do. And the voiceless are the children and the women and the trees and all beings. We're all one big Mother Earth being, and we're all just systems of that one being. So yeah, I just wanted to share that. Suzanne had something she wanted to speak into the circle.
Just a point of reference. I'm unclear if the announcement that the Facebook page is going to go to women only has been made. In my group, they did not know that. So I might be speaking out of turn, but after this pause, we're announcing that the Facebook page is going to be for women only, women and grandmothers. I thought that was really important. The website, again, is open to women and grandmothers. So I just really want to be very clear because I don't know if you
Wanted to
told
ask, when you say women and grandmothers, so women of any age, or
Yes.
even if they're not grandmothers, but
Yes.
women of, okay.
The grandmothers will be the ones who sit on the councils. The grandmothers will be the ones who guide and lead. Everybody needs our wisdom. And we talked in our last meeting, Suzanne and Sharon and I, about there's so much in the Facebook group. There are so many broken women that just cannot tolerate the male presence. We can't really say, we can't go through the list and say you're a man, you're a woman, you're out, you're in. We're going to put that in the guidelines and ask for respect of that. If we close the group ever, we can never open it again. And it's really important that this, to all of us that have been guiding, that it be an open group. So these are things that we're going to come through together, that we're going to, as we form these the transition team especially, we're going to be discussing that. Sharon, did you have something to say?
Yeah, I was also waving goodbye to Karen.
Oh, okay. Oh, thank you,
But
Karen.
yeah,
It's too
we-
late. Yeah, I'm tired.
yeah. What we determined as we had conversations is that there's something that women have not been allowed to bring to the table, and that's their authority voice. And they're knowing that their presence is powerful and their presence is totally important. And so having the website, having the Facebook group where women can come and absolutely be with other women who are holding them gently as their voice comes into awareness and then presence, etc. Without, because the male has a different purpose and there's healing for that to be done, but we're women holding a space for wisdom and for healing. And that's why on the Facebook group and the idea and proposal was that there's a Facebook group now. It actually is Mayanna's husband or partner. I'm not sure which that is, Mayanna. But we have created a space for them because they need their place too to be without us. So on the Facebook, in the Facebook group, Global Grandmothers are for women only, any age, women only. The website, although for women only, some of the events as they come up may be for men and women. You know, the events themselves. But we need a place for women to become solid within their own sense of who they are, what they bring, where they're loved, etc. So that's why we've made that decision, and we have absolutely created an option for those men that are already in the group to encourage them to go over to their own Facebook or others.
Yeah, and that Facebook group is called Heartists. So because men really need to come from their hearts. That's their challenge as well, all of us, but I feel like fewer men have made the journey from the head to the heart. And this is for those who have made that journey, will be in council together, and then they will guide the ones who have not. So our next moving forward,
Peggy has something she'd like to say. Becky has
Denise.
Yeah. So let's hear from Peggy and then from Becky and then next
And
step.
Denise.
Oh,
Yeah.
and Denise. I didn't see her. Yes.
Yes.
Peggy, you're on. Oh yeah, Denise.
You're muted, Peggy.
Okay. I completely agree with not having men in this group, although occasionally there is a call for the men to be with us. But in choosing to only have women, I would propose consideration that you also include women, men, transgender, those who identify as women. I think that's really important it takes a lot of courage for them to move out of society in a recognized role and move into their truth. So I don't know if anybody's thought of that, but if you identify as a woman, I do believe their heart is here also. And I think that's a very important point.
Thank you, Peggy.
Thank you.
May I say something now?
Yes,
Karen?
you've got the feather.
Oh, okay, thank you. Yeah, I would just like to stress that as we take a look at the kinship way, we'll see that not only grandmothers have councils, but women of different ages because they have different concerns. And the same thing with men. And you know, men are so important to keeping our world together in terms like infrastructure wise, and so they will counsel together and know that what they bring to the circle is as important as everyone else's counsel circle brings to the circle.
Yeah.
It will also discover that there's many things that we will be able to dispense with as we start to embody the kinship way. And so the roles and contributions each of us makes is going to shift. But I just wanted to say that so that, you know, for the men who want to know what's up with us, they eventually will have their own space. And then we bring everything to the center eventually. So I just wanted to add that.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Yes. and we
Denise?
Yeah, so as I spoke, I was in Indigenous ceremony on summer solstice, and in that ceremony, I functioned as, or I served as divine feminine, and I had some understandings about the fact that we as women have healing to do, not only in relation to men, but, you know, having been disempowered, whatever we allowed ourselves or chose or were in a position to be subjected to, that those things, we need to heal them. And because we're a group of women, maybe one of the first focuses with around the health aspect or the healing aspect could be in that approach of healing ourselves as women so that we can, because if we have that resistance against men, right, the sacred water of the woman is just as important as the seed. The relationship between the two of them has been at odds, and we have to heal that. So maybe just holding tight where we're at, if okay, you know, men are not part of the group right now, but at least having the ability to say, okay, we just need to take a breath. We need to assess, we as women, what we've been through. We're going to focus on that healing, because if there are women in the group who are feeling unsafe about men to the point that they don't want them around, then that's a barrier to the work being done, right? And it's also probably a barrier to being fully self-empowered as the sacred water, as the one going forward, because we know that power is shifting right now from the male sort of version of it to now the female, and that's why we're being called. That's why we're in this moment. That's what this moment is for. So maybe just a softer, kinder, gentler way going forward is to be like, okay, we're going to focus on that. If you're one of the women who's not feeling safe about men, let's, you know, I'm sure there's somebody who works in the mental health field around that, and we could quickly build some people willing to serve in those capacities.
Perfect. And we have that absolutely in our bones. And that's true. This is a healing path because it's a new. Absolutely.
It is. Oh, that was.
Yeah. Thank you, Denise. Absolutely. Julianne, and then over to you, Mayana.
So opening the collective heart, which of course is both masculine and feminine, the human heart. If I understand our purpose and intention to be, is to create a new paradigm and to leave wisdom behind for future generations, which from, my end of spirituality will lead us to a new evolutionary phase where our ability to recreate economic systems and political systems and culture will reflect the highest values, which are gender neutral and full of love and compassion. And to do this work, I suspect we will also engage economists and historians, and of course the healers. This is a room full of healers, and I want to speak with great love and respect. So I'm monitoring my own stuff. Many spiritual practitioners, and I'm not really talking so much about the traditional churches, but of course the power structures and the way the message of Jesus, just as an example, went from, love one another as I have loved you. And within 300 years, the Roman Empire and the church was burning people at the stake for heresy and blasphemy. And that's how they consolidated that power. And we're still feeling the effects. And so those ancient teachings from every faith tradition all have the voice of equality and the voice of progress. And I don't want to see this group, which is a sacred group of elders, just a beautiful group of women who've been assembled, to abandon ourselves in the name of being inclusive, which of course inclusion is the whole point. But until we are really solid in our philosophy and our values, maybe take some time to do the work building the bridges, because as we go forward and as we go higher, these relationships, the tone and the content of the relationships between men and women is going to change, and the power structures are going to change. And I'm being very respectful. Thank you for letting me speak.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's wonderful to hear all the wisdom that you all are sharing. And, in the masculine and feminine within each of us it's a spectrum. And we have specific physical bodies that, like we're doing seeding the mycelium, we're connected through our ovaries as women. And I have no disrespect for people who feel uncomfortable in their physical bodies. Our whole conversations as we were talking as groups before about who could be in and who couldn't, I'm never going to be a police of that. That's not my place. And I don't think any of us really can do anything like that. So while we set our intention and we set the space, and then we must hold the space we set. So this is where the writing of the values and the missions and the vision, this is vital, because it is the women's job to weave together those words that will make the new foundation that all of the wonderful things we all imagine can grow upon. So our next steps are forming a transition team. And I invite you to email circle@globalgrandmotherscouncil.org and tell us, where do you want to jump in? Where do you want to step up? This is the call. Step up, step in, and you all have, and thank you, and thank you, and thank you. So we want to know. I'm sorry, what, Sandra?
just put it in the chat if you would.
Sure. Sharon, can you do that while I talk? I can't talk and chat.
Okay, thank you.
Circle at globalgrandmotherscouncil.org. And if you want to be a part of the core council, now the core council, which the titles will all come, but we've talked about the things that we need, the 9 that we need right away. The core council will each have a council of their own. Nobody is going to be alone. This is going to go councils, circles within circles, and out and out and out from global to local. And we're going to have.
Can you repeat the email address?
It's in the chat.
It's not in the chat yet because I'm dating it from the email. So be patient.
Sandra put it in.
Okay.
Sandra Lobb put it in. Yeah.
Thank you.
I saw that.
If that's
Can
Thank
I, and the council is spelled COUNSEL, not CIL.
No, it's CIL. Sorry, it's CIL. Yes.
okay, I'm wrong then.
I can't
Okay.
see the notes. Can you repeat it?
Okay, circle at Global Grandmothers, plural, Council, COUNCIL.org. And that is our landing page website, globalgrandmotherscouncil.org.
Okay, but then that would be I'm asking for the email address, circle at Global Grandmothers Council, and then what?
.org. O-R-G.
Okay. And that's where you want what we see ourselves as doing.
Yes. 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 The call is to tell us who you are and where your heart wants to play. We want everyone to be where they feel they'll thrive. And
Articulate is based the admin or the user gets to assign and unassign as needed.
I don't know
a seated person and they're
who's speaking.
That's okay. Go ahead.
Okay. So with that, I welcome anyone with administrative skills to help me in the transition team. I would love that. And all vice versa. You should all have the documents that we emailed and the links to other groups that are doing similar things, like the Founding Mothers movement that is working on policy, and actually I know Laura George, who is the nonprofit at the Peace Pentagon, just 2 hours from me here in Virginia. And the Gather the Women, I sent links to that. And then there was another one that had a really good membership platform. We need to write up how is our membership platform going to be? What different levels of memberships are we going to have? What benefits and responsibilities are within all of those memberships? What structures and activities do we want to launch with? And who might be our voices in the world? How can we create some little videos? Because videos are helpful to really get the message out quickly and beautifully. So anyone who would like to participate with me in Canva, I use Canva to create graphics, and the website is built in Canva at this moment. We will be moving, and I think it's Tuesday we have a meeting with One Divine, and we'll find out more about the costs and how much money we need when to be able to implement all of our visions. And have I missed anything, Sharon?
I think not. So this meeting is, big overview, a little bit of history, great opportunity to get to know each other a little bit, think about where you might want to at least begin to play. Maybe that's not where you want to end up initially, but where are you called now? Some possibility, next steps. You've got this email address, you got the website as it is, it is. And we have shared some visions, some dreams, some possibilities, some information. I mean, there's so much that's opening up as possible. That's why we need the structures in place to let those possibilities have great foundations. So the wishes, the dreams, the conversations that we've had here will probably be repeated in maybe a week or so with another group that might be interested, but you might be ready now to say, hey, I'd like to tip my toe here. I might want to ask questions there. So you're ready to take the next step toward helping us with the bones. Want to take that intention, our visions, the stabilities. I'm just going to close the circle in putting all of that within this candle to be sent out into the world everywhere that is needed and calling for that which we are here to provide. Networking with all of those who are similar, creating the powerful, powerful network of what has been called in the past Indra's web. I mean, it is so. So our circle is closed. It is blessed, sent out into the world. And thank you so much for being here.
Thank you all.
Thank you all. Have a wonderful rest of your days.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Guys, bye everyone.
Kinship blessings.
Amen.
Love it. Love it. Maya, stay tuned.
Yes. Yes. There we are.
I think, because I just went over to record to stop the recording.
Uh-huh.
I think that after the first breakout session, I don't know, the recording at some point stopped.
Oh, mine says it's still recording.
Mine says record to the cloud. So if it says recording,
Okay.
that perfect. I just was a little concerned about that. Great. Okay, then it got captured. That's good.
Yeah, we got it.
Okay. Let's
Oh,
see
thank
what
you.
happens next.
See you later this afternoon for you, this evening for me.
That's right. Take it easy today, okay?
Yeah, okay.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks, Sharon.